Well, it's certainly not a very flattering pose for this edition of In the Light. Excuse me, and the light's coming from a different direction, and I've got a cold, so sorry about my voice. But I'm actually driving home from watching 1917. It was about to go out of the theaters, and I hadn't had a chance to see it. I wanted to see it on the big screen. Tried a couple friends and family, but nobody could go with me. So on the way back from my mom's tonight, I caught it. Wow, it's an amazing piece of filmmaking. It just makes me think, what could they do? To top this, it just seems like the art of filmmaking has reached its pinnacle. And this is an example of it. How it looks like all one shot, and to do that, they obviously had these extremely long extended shots. I thought Children of Men was amazing, the end of Children of Men, with that really long extended shot, but that was 20 minutes or something. This looked like they had hour-long extended shots in this movie, and beautiful cinematography and great storyline, great writing, very meaningful and moving too. I'll say that. I'll start with the positive and mention just a great moment. I love when, and spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie. There is some minor spoilers that I'll be sharing, but I thought one of the great moments was when Schofield finally makes his way to the group of soldiers he's trying to reach, and there's a young one with a beautiful voice singing Wayfaring Stranger to the whole company as they prepare to go into battle and likely die. And of course that's a great gospel hymn. And I think this was the intention of it, to show that moment of great art, because it shows that the civilization that these young men were fighting for was worth fighting for, worth saving, and it was, and it is still. Western civilization is worth fighting for and worth saving because of many reasons, but most of all because of the gospel of Jesus Christ and how it's blessed and permeated with its blessings all throughout Western civilization. Just everything was done so well in the movie. I guess I will share a couple gripes, and one or two of them are similar to things I've had about other war movies. First of all, there's a scene in the movie where Schofield's friend is dying, and he knows he's dying, and Schofield knows he's dying. He tells him he's dying, but nobody says anything about asking God for mercy or, trusting in Jesus Christ, that sort of thing. And I just find that so unbelievable because of what I know about the British Empire in 1917. This was a Christian nation. So it seems inconceivable to me that when two young Brits are at the most excruciating and fearful moment of their lives, and one is facing death, and the other loves the one who's facing death, that they wouldn't say anything about God at all. I just think that's so unlikely, just knowing what these young people were raised in. And of course it breaks my heart to see that, because I just want to see the young man cry out for mercy, knowing he's headed into eternity, or if he's a believer, thank Christ, and tell him he's coming to see him. So something like that, or some even subtle reference would have been nice. I'm so glad they had that scene later when the soldier was singing Wayfaring Stranger, because other than that, it would have been a godless depiction of a war, fought by a Christian nation, obviously with all sorts of problems on the way to its decline and all that. But in 1917, I mean, most of the people in Britain were raised in, Christian schools, Christian homes, with some kind of gospel influence in their lives. And so, that would have permeated. People would talk about it, people would pray. A lesser issue, but a little bit related to it, is all the profanity in the movie, especially the F word. I've talked to World War II veterans. I always ask them this when I meet them, or people that know a lot about World War II, either were there or talked to people that were there. And there was not nearly as much profanity, in my understanding, in reality, as there is in these movies about World War II. Well, this was World War I, almost 30 years earlier, and British troops. I don't know. I just don't think they would have used that word that much. I just think it's unrealistic. Maybe I'm wrong, but it bothered me a little bit. The only other thing I thought of that bothered me a little bit about the movie was not a moral thing, but a plot hole, possibly. They send this messenger to go tell these 16,000 troops, or 160,000, whatever it was, a lot of troops, that they're headed into a trap and they're going to die. And these two young guys have to try to make it the whole way. One survives and makes it the whole way through excruciating difficulties, and doesn't even make it by the beginning of the battle. But yet they show these planes flying around, English planes, and they said they had aerial reconnaissance that showed them that the Germans had dug in and were really planning this as a trap, their retreat and all that. So I just have a question: why couldn't they just put the message that they need to send to the troops up at the front? Why don't they send it in an airplane and just fly the airplane, over and drop a satchel of correspondence, and on the trenches or the lines or whatever, and just tell them you're headed into a trap. You don't need to fight this battle. I just wondered about that. I was curious. Maybe there's a good explanation for it, but I can overlook that and say that it was a terrific movie and very moving and just really impressive. Again, how the heights of modern filmmaking have reached such heights. I just pray that more people will use it for the glory of God. I know that God is glorified even when unbelievers make good movies like this, because as Ecclesiastes says, the rich store up their treasure so that the righteous can spend it, or the wicked store up their treasure so the righteous can spend it. So God in His common grace allows people who are not Christians to make good art so that God's people can enjoy it, whether we already be the people of God, we already are the people of God through faith, we believe, or those who will become the people of God through the kinds of emotional and spiritual issues that are raised in them through the art that they see, and God uses that as a part of His saving plan for their lives. So anyway, those are some thoughts on 1917. Strongly recommend it. Not really for children because of the language and the very disturbing violence, but it's supposed to be disturbing. It was a horrible thing. World War I, very avoidable, but yet thank God that you can bring good even out of that. So, as is my tradition, I'd like to pray for anyone watching this and myself, and say, Dear Lord, I'm not going to close my eyes because I'm driving, in case you haven't figured that out. I have to watch the road, which I have been this whole time. I have not looked at the screen. Anyway, I'd like to pray and ask God, please, may you use the wonderful art that you allow to be made in the world, and that you inspire in so many ways, to inspire your people, inspire others to realize there's much more to this world than just the natural. There are ideals of hope and purpose that good art always highlights for us. And I pray that your people would thank you for this and enjoy it in a way that brings glory to you, not enjoying anything that glorifies evil, but enjoy things that show the consequences of evil and so forth. And that people who don't know you will be drawn towards you through the realities they see and the emotions they feel and experience when they view good art like this movie. So thank you for the privilege of enjoying your creation and your creative spirit in others. In Christ's name, amen.